This episode includes discussion of cancer, medical procedures, anxiety, and family stress. Please take care while listening and skip this one if those topics are tender right now.
I am Jen. I'm a psychic medium. This is my podcast, Fate 40 and Beyond, where we sit down with friends, do a tarot card reading, and just talk about life. There's so many of us out there who feel like we should have life figured out, but we just don't. This is meant as a place where we can be open and honest about what we're going through and all our struggles and just talk like friends. I have Laura on today. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, I am Laura. Obviously, I am 40-ish. I tell my kids I'm 22. They believe it for now, so we're gonna leave it at that. I am a mom and a nurse, and not currently working as a nurse, and kind of question a lot of things and a little bit lost. So when you say that this is for people who like we're supposed to have our life figured out, I feel like I got more confused in my late 30s
Yeah.
than I ever was in my like at 18 and 20. Like I was so sure of the way my path was supposed to go. And then like my life exploded around like 36.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it's just been a whole path of trying to figure myself out and my life out and everything since then. So
Yeah. I can completely relate to that. It feels like just when I started to feel like I understood life, I got thrown the biggest curveball and spent most of my 30s trying to figure out how to re-navigate, like
Mhm.
recalibrating direction. So I completely get that. And yeah, I'm 45 and I feel like I should totally be in a different place in my life. And it just,
Before I get it.
yeah,
I'll be
it's,
45 next month. So it's,
yeah,
and I feel like I feel just as lost at like 16 as I do now. At the same time,
yeah,
there's like so much of the world ahead of me and so much to do and see. But then I also feel this huge time constraint because I real now, like, in your teens and 20s, you have like, oh, I'm so young, nothing's going to happen, blah, blah. You've got like infinity in front of you. And now it's like, okay, life is real. I don't have
yeah.
the time that you would think that you would have. And
I remember it was probably like 3 years ago. I'm such a nerd. I went through like the last 7 or 8 ancestors, great grandparents, great 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 grandparents, everyone that had a date for. And I averaged out their lifespan. And I'm like, okay, 87, that's not bad. And now I'm like past the halfway mark. That's a lot faster than I expected.
yeah,
We're not playing around anymore. And it's not so much that like life is short. I feel like there's just so much I want to do, see, be, experience. And the first half flew by. And now I'm like, time's ticking.
that's literally it. And then like you put in a diagnosis on top of that and it like I
That
without crying I cannot like go into detail of that one, so
no, I get that.
it literally just it wrecks you for a bit.
Yeah. I'm trying to find balance between like e- uh, enjoying life and trying to fix everything all the time. You know. So okay. We'll start with the reading. One of my favorite things is like when we'll be talking ahead of the reading and all of a sudden the cards are like, yeah, let's talk about that some more. Let's see. First impression is talking more about like the time that we're here and like what are we doing with it? How are we how are we effectively using our time? And I don't want to say effective as in like we're supposed to be productive, but more so doing the things that count. Are you potentially facing surgery? Yeah. Okay. And I understand what that's about. We don't have to go into that.
I can if needed, so I think it's something needs to be talked about in some ways for people, but it's I
Sure.
whatever, because I will rabbit trail the heck out of that one. But yes, yeah, probably.
What I really feel is, and this one's hard, and I think because it is such a big thing in your life right now, it's going to come up. There's
Mhm.
almost a sense of fear,
Oh, yeah.
the unknown, but it feels more like having a deadline and fighting your fear do the things that matter until that deadline. Does that make sense? Like, almost like you're running out of time.
That's what my
And,
fear is, or is that what's really happening?
no, that's I'm not saying that's what's really happening. It's just like it's like, no, no,
Yes, that
no.
is my fear. Yes.
No, like your
Because
fear is
like we
trying to
talked,
beat the clock.
yeah. So that is something that we had talked about as far as like feeling like we only have so much time for things.
Yeah.
And if anything, like I feel with a cancer diagnosis that you don't know how much time you have. It is something, sorry.
No, I
It is something that puts life into perspective in ways that you don't realize normally.
um,
So even if it is like an okay kind or one that has like good survival odds, it still makes you reevaluate every little piece of your life and what do you want to get out of it. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, 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 and I'm sorry that this came up so quickly.
No, I had a feeling it was going to. Like I prepared myself for it. So
I was doing a mediumship reading for someone one time, and one of the most memorable, like, impactful messages that I got was someone's grandfather who had already passed came through and said the thing he missed most was a warm tomato picked right off the vine in the middle of summer with a little salt on it, just, like, biting into it. And I remember thinking that truly describes all of the things that are important in this world. It's all the little stuff that we experience. It's not the car, it's not the house, it's not, and sometimes it's not even the relationships, you know? It is the moments with people that we can collect along the way.
mhm,
And what I'm hearing for you is to focus on that stuff. Eat the ice cream for dinner. Eat,
mhm.
like,
that
do the
was
do the
literally
fun thing.
that was literally like when I got diagnosed, I was like, so I could change the way I eat and try to go completely organic and go all natural. I was like,
Mhm.
or I can enjoy every bite of everything, or you know what I mean? Like I don't
Yeah.
have to like do the things that they say you have to do and just enjoy what I have because it doesn't matter that you're 40 years old, early 40s and you have cancer. It doesn't matter if you're 80 and you have
Right.
cancer. It happens. And so you just need to figure out like what enjoy what you have while you have it.
Yeah.
Because at any point it can go away. It just puts it into perspective for you because there's some people that go the opposite end of the spectrum and they will just
Right.
like be as healthy as
Yeah.
humanly possible because we try to control and change everything that we can and fix.
That's a really
So we
good
don't have
point.
to go through it.
I think the only difference between a medical diagnosis and life just being abruptly ended is you get time to think about it. It's not fair. It's really not. Yeah, it can be taken from us literally at any second, but it's not fair to be told there's a timeline, but we can't tell you what it is. And then you have to sit and deal with that. I am seeing that you have a really good support system in place, though. The
I'm trying
people
to
who
create
I
one.
would say, yeah, the people who matter are there. It does, like, they're showing me just, like, a very small group, and that's I was not expecting to cry. I'm trying to think of the words to describe this because the only thing I'm getting right now is just complete, overwhelming love, and I think that it's coming from the most important people in your life right now. I do feel like there's a little conflicting energy in how they show it versus how they feel.
And that would be my husband.
I was gonna say it kind of feels like,
He
yeah,
goes distant and
yeah,
puts it out in ways that I don't wanna say I don't need it, but it's not the ways that I need it. But I think it's male brain versus female brain where we
yeah.
nurture and he yeah.
It's scary for him. Like, that's what I'm hearing and feeling is he It's almost this feeling of like if he detaches now, it won't hurt as much later. But there's no guarantee that anything's gonna happen later. Does he lash out at little stuff? And
That's
like,
me.
okay.
That's me. No, he's very logical and very forward moving, and I'm the one that's like
Yeah.
right now.
Okay. Okay. Because there's this energy of like, first we have to do this, and then we have to make sure this is in place, and then we have to. So if he's the one keeping the train on the tracks.
Well, that's kind of both of us. Like I'm the one that initially when we found out was I was like, I need to like put a plan. So there was a whole week of me again because this is recurrence. This isn't the first time. So I started planning. I'm like, okay, this needs to happen. This needs to happen. This needs to happen. And then I've now been in my 2 week window of just melting down, where now he's the one that's like
Yeah.
going forward. But like his initial reaction was like, you just need to take it out. You need to have surgery. You need to have it removed. Regardless of what happens, you just have to. I was like, this is my body. You can't talk
Right.
about my parts being taken out when it's
Right.
body. Like his response to everything is just take it out. Just take it out. And I'm like, I'm gonna be nothing inside at this
It's
rate.
not a
We
bad
can't,
water pump on a car, man.
we can't just keep removing things. What? You have a hard period? Just take it out. I'm like, these are not your body parts. Stop.
That's too funny, actually. That's like
It's
that's such
very
a man
like,
answer.
I know. Literally, I was like, I need to think about this. Like, there's other things that they can do. And he's just like, nope, just take it out. Just take it out. You're not going to be happy until it's taken out. I was like, I'm not going to be happy if it's taken out.
Right. That's
Like,
not there's not a guarantee any which way.
no, we can't just start taking everything out because it doesn't work right.
That's funny. Oh my gosh. I like the men mentality. Ugh,
Yeah.
insane. Men are funny. Okay.
Again, not his body.
Yeah, let's see how you like getting things just taken out.
I know. Trust me, I'll advocate for that when the time comes.
There's, of course, an underlying feeling of everything's a lesson, blah, 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 blah. And I hate saying stuff like that in these type of situations because, duh, first of all, like, yes, there's always a bigger lesson. I think the lesson is more so in how you're handling it versus the actual outcome, if that makes sense. So oh, well, this card makes sense. It's are you focusing on the forest or the trees type of feeling? I think in this case in particular, the journey is it's the experience that you're supposed to be focusing on, not so much th- how it ends up, like what the true result is. I know for me, I I struggle heavy with depression. And my biggest fear is getting diagnosed with something that could potentially be terminal and giving up completely because I don't know in my mind, like I that's it's my default mode is just, oh, I can just rot in bed, just cry my eyes out. Woe is me. And I say that very lightly, but this summer in particular has been one of the most difficult for me. And so I wonder, would I have the strength to do what it takes to fight for everyone else? And it doesn't have to be, I want the outcome, a positive outcome. It could be more so of like truly doing it for my kids, truly doing it for my grandkids. I don't know. Is that something that you feel? I don't know. Like I'm curious, and I know what I'm feeling looking at the cards, but I don't want to put words into your mouth either.
So it's very easy to fall into a depression because of it. Like
Yeah,
my big thing has been anxiety. There's like just so much anxiety, but it's the unknown, lack of control, all the
yeah,
things. Bed rotting, I've given myself grace with because
yeah,
sometimes we need to bed rot
yeah.
is something that I've told myself because at the same time, like it's sometimes my way of like processing and healing. At the same time, I have little ones that I want to see grow up.
Yeah.
And like, I keep going back and forth through like all the cycles of grief, because even if it's not grief in the sense of what you expect grief to be, it is, because you're grieving a change in your life. You know what I mean? Because it is a complete and total change of your life. So, like in some ways, I get angry, and my anger is directed towards the fact that my kids are little; they don't deserve this.
Yeah.
They deserve to have a sick mom. They need to have somebody healthier, and so like I just get very angry. Not at anybody, not at anything, just
Yep.
situational. Sometimes I just have to process that portion of things. As far as fighting, it gets tiring in the sense of I'm constantly fighting doctors,
Yeah.
the diagnoses to get the answers, to get the things done. I think what's scariest for me about this last one is this is the first time I've not had to fight, and I don't like that. It sounds like that's exactly what you wanted all along, but
Yeah.
when you don't have to fight, it makes it scarier because you realize they're moving with a lot more swiftness than they had previously moved. You know what I mean? Get like months before to get diagnoses, and now we're talking like a couple weeks. And like,
A sense of urgency that
I don't like that.
signifies that there's more severity to it,
Right.
possibly.
As a nurse, we always tell our patients, if you haven't seen me, that's good, because that
Right.
means you're healthy. When
Yeah.
you see us in there, then there's something going on. They're moving very quickly. I mean, it was a matter of having an ultrasound and having the biopsy scheduled. Like the doctor was out of office for 2 weeks and then having a biopsy scheduled the day he came back.
Mm,
And he was on vacation and he was talking with the nurse practitioner and ordering all these tests behind the scenes. So he wasn't even there
right.
and ordering a whole bunch of stuff. Whereas before, I'm usually the one that has to start communication and start
Right.
all, like it was literally just a matter of days where everything happened. So
Yeah. No, I get
that's
that.
and I
How?
think I lost track again.
No, 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 no. This is
I
really
rabbit
good
trailed
because
again.
the question that comes up for me is, at what point do you let yourself be supported by your support team? So whether it's medical or personal relationships, it would be exhausting to continue fighting 24/7 for yourself. At what point do you let other people fight for you? Have you gotten
I
to that point yet?
a little bit, only because they are actually doing it this time.
Yeah.
Previously, they didn't, and I think that's where, like, when the ultrasound results first came back, because I read them and I knew exactly what they meant. Not the good point of having medical
I
experience.
understand that
It
exactly.
was literally the night the results came back, I just, like, broke down because I knew exactly what was coming,
Yeah.
and at the same time, I was crying because I'm like, "I'm gonna have to fight again," and I'm exhausted from
Yeah.
fighting. I'm exhausted from trying to be an advocate for myself because I don't feel like I should have to advocate 24/7. You know what I mean? There should be some that they just do on their own, and so they're doing that, and then here I am, and it scares me because they're doing it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a relief in some ways. Like after the biopsy the other day, I just kept saying like, "Okay, I actually trust him. Like, this is weird that this is the first time, because we're all on the same page with what's the plan from here on out, which
Yeah.
is just take it out." It is the just remove it, but it
Mm.
took me a bit to get on the same page with
And the fact the fact
that.
that it is something that you can just take out helps.
That's the
As
piece of the yeah.
I I will say, as someone who has been filled in on some of your journey so far, like, we've had some conversation about that previously, and then to see you go through this diagnosis again is, I mean, I think this is the first time we've actually spoken,
I think
and
so.
but to me, like, my Facebook friends or my online friends are just as real friends as people I see every day, you know? For me, watching from the outside, I was like, "Oh, I don't." There is a little fear of, like, stepping back. I don't wanna get in the way. I don't wanna be, I mean, like, I don't know. I hate to admit that I'm the type of person, like, I will move further away from people because I don't wanna be hurt. I don't wanna experience that pain. And regardless, you're already in my orbit. Like, there's no way that watching your journey is not gonna affect me in some way.
It's
And so
self-preservation. We all
It
try to
really is.
self-preserve in a lot of ways. We
And
don't
I
nobody wants to get hurt. It's not like you step out and are like, "Yeah, it's okay. Let's cut off my arm and I'll be fine." Like, no,
right.
you don't want to do any of that. Like, nobody wants to be sad or hurt or
Well, and I
feel.
think also, like, a lack of words, like, there's not a whole lot I can say that's really gonna change anything or do, especially because there's so much distance between us, it's like I can't just pop over and bring you dinner one night, or what are my words really gonna do?
I can say that for other people if in the situation, sometimes words really are just they can be that thing that keeps people going in some ways. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
you start to feel very isolated and very alone. I can say with this particular type of cancer, it's not like other ones
yeah,
where you can see that
yeah,
they have. You know what I mean? Chemotherapy is not an option. That's just not. Instead, the it's radioactive iodine. So if you go
mhm,
through radioactive iodine, you have to completely isolate. And if you're isolating, you're already, like,
wow,
internally going through this, and then
yeah,
on top of that, I have to be isolated from my kids for 2 weeks. I can't be around my dog, I can't be around
right,
my kids, I cannot be in the same house as them, not
wow,
even talking, I just have to be in my own room, I cannot be near them
yeah,
at all. We can't use the same bathroom, they can't use the same shower, I can't like, there's so much this is a very alone
yeah,
type of disease process where the other ones people could rally behind you and at the same time when somebody's having chemotherapy they lose their hair there becomes signs
evidence, yeah,
but yeah but with this it's you don't know anything's wrong
uh,
inside you're like very isolated it's a very isolating version of cancer and it's one of the only ones that is like that in some ways but
yeah,
then they always refer to it as the easy cancer the good cancer I was told by somebody well at least you have the good one
oh my god.
yes the good
I
one let
lucked
me tell
out, you're right, like, yay me.
Woo, gonna go play the lottery now.
I feel like that could be a shirt. I have the good kind of cancer. Like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
So then in that case, I can see how even, online friends or people at a distance could still be a lifeline almost.
Mhm. Because that's all you have in some
Yeah,
ways.
that's,
Yeah. But the support groups are very important.
yeah.
You get to
Well,
know each other, like, even if you don't know each other, you
get
know each
to,
other. Understand
for
the
sure.
struggle. Yeah.
Well,
Different.
and especially as someone who is active in AA, and even though I wouldn't really call it a support group, but just having that common, like, battle wound, I could go into any room across the world and share what I'm struggling with, and people are like, "Yep, been there, understand that
Mhm.
one." And so I would imagine that support groups for specific, especially specific type of cancer, would be really important
Mhm.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Because there's some things that make you feel like, "Am I the only one going through this? Am I
Right.
the" it's very, very similar to,
Yeah.
hey, when you struggle with the addiction of any kind, for
Yeah.
somebody to know what it's like when that comes back or you get those feelings, you know what I mean? And it's something very specific to that only. Somebody who
Yeah.
doesn't deal with that may not have a full capacity of empathy or whatever to fully understand what it is that you're going through
Right.
versus being in a room of people who are going through that same thing.
Yeah.
They've they felt some level of that at some point,
Yeah.
you know?
I get that. I totally get that. There's there's a feel there's I have to laugh because justice
I was
came
gonna say,
up.
I don't know what I think about this laugh.
No, justice came up. I'm like, yeah, it's not just like this reading is very like, yeah, we already talked about this, but just to figure, just to, like, double down on that feeling. And it's so hard when it's something like of such importance in your life. It's hard to just casually talk about it from my perspective because for you it is life or death. It is your well-being. The cards are just reiterating, yeah, make sure you have a support system. Make sure you're focusing on the journey, not the outcomes. It's not just. And then there's this one that's like, it's gonna take time. I was like, no, that's not what we want to know. That's, like, everything takes time. I get that.
Yeah,
But it
I
is,
feel it takes a long time.
yeah. The emphasis on this card is much more of you can't you can't rush the process. You can't, like, there's no jumping ahead. There's no like skipping this step to get to this and making it happen faster. It's really just waiting for things to fall into place when they're supposed to. And I wouldn't say fall into place doesn't feel right. But what I'm seeing is I don't even know. It was almost like a puzzle where one piece clicks and then it triggers something else to click into place, and then that one flips something else, and it all works together, and eventually the puzzle is done, but it has to start. They all trigger each other, and the timeline has to unfold that way. And I would imagine that's exactly like dealing with the medical system in this case.
It is because they wanted to jump ahead to they were willing to jump ahead to just doing surgery without
Yeah.
even doing a biopsy. But
Wow.
the process has to be
Yeah.
the first, and then it's at least a 2-week wait. And then if those come back inconclusive, which they usually do, it'll then be
Yeah.
another 2 to 3 weeks before the molecular testing comes back. So it's still just this waiting process no matter how fast I want it to go.
Yeah.
I can't. And
Well,
it's
I'm
just that piece by piece, we just have to do the steps to
yeah.
walk through. And it's just waiting impatiently.
I was gonna say, even if you read the report and you knew the outcome already, you still have to wait for the doctor to go over it with you. And
Yeah.
I would imagine that's like uh, just incredibly frustrating because yeah, I used to be an EMT. I understand medical terminology. You can
Mhm.
hand me a report and I'm going to give you the gist of it. Like I can pretty much put the clues together. So I understand that frustration of like I I'm the type that'll even, like, read further into it and be like, "But why aren't they doing anything about this part of it? Like, you're addressing A, how about B?"
That's actually how this all was found, was because of that. Because I
Really?
did that.
That's
Because
cra
they were looking for something else, which ended up being wrong. But I was like, I don't like the looks of this
that
part of.
right.
And so I made them keep testing, and they were like, well, it came back inconclusive. And they're like,
Yeah.
we'll see. And it was 6 months later that they finally, to appease me,
Right.
removed half of the thyroid.
Wow.
And then it came back, and the doctor walked in. He's like, well, it was just like we thought. It was cancer. And I was like, we? We? No, no,
No.
no, 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 no. You can thank me for this one.
Yeah.
So
But
I was like, just take the rest out. And they were
that's the
like, we
advocating for
can't.
yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, like, I just had my doctor tell me to change some stuff up, and I was like, "Can we just test for that first? Like, before you make changes, and it's gonna be me that it affects, can we please just test for it first?" Like, come on. And it's like a simple blood test. Like, it's
Right.
not anything difficult. I know I can hop in, hop out, 5 minutes, it's 3 minutes down the road. Like, let's just do this instead of taking a stab at it and figuring it out if that's gonna fix things.
Right. Seriously, I've been the same way. And I'm like, they want to add in medicine. And I'm like, let's like, I think they've tried adding in like 3 or 4 at a time. I was like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
One at a time.
Yeah.
We're going to do this is me. We're
Right.
going to do this one at a time as we work through the process. So
I was laughing the other day. I've started to take supplements and I'm like, okay, I'm finally starting to figure out like fish oil really helps my brain. If I don't take it, I can tell a difference. And then I started I got a diagnosis, add on a medication. Then my doctor takes another one and adjusts it. And I'm like, how did I end up with a handful of pills? Like 2 years ago, I didn't take anything. Right. 2 years I didn't like
thank
I
you.
went from and I was like, "Well, I hit 45, that's the problem." But the thing is, I'll take my supplements and medication with a energy drink, and I'm sure that's not helpful.
It's balance. It's all about
I'm, like, slamming it, throw a handful in, and I slam it. And I was like, "Yeah, still hardcore." Yeah, the pills I did and the shots I did looked a lot different 20 years ago.
right.
But, I think also it's just funny how health does become more important as you get older. Like you said
Mhm.
earlier, and I don't remember if we were recording already or not. just feeling like you're invincible almost in your 20s and life
Um,
is just going by and you're just like bebopping along, kind of. I don't, the way I see it is like a pinball machine, just kind of like things are happening, but I'm still moving. And then you get to a certain point where you're like, I should probably address that thing. There was a while at the bottom of my stairs, it turns. And every time I take that turn, I would feel it in my right knee, and I was like, "Oh, that doesn't feel good. Oh, like I should probably go see the doctor." And finally, it got to the point where I was like, "At what point do I just go to the doctor?" Like, yeah, that hurts, but it's every time now, you know. And I was like, I know I need to look into this stuff a little bit more seriously because it's not. I'm not just gonna bebop around. I'm gonna bebop down the bottom of the stairs at one point, and I don't want to. But I also don't want to be in the doctor's office all the time with new medications every 5 days.
because they will prescribe the heck out of
They
you. Like,
don't care. I know. I know.
it's here's a pill, take it, see if it fixes it. Here's a pill, take it, see if it fixes it. Versus like, I get it. It starts the whole cascade event of
It does.
ending up with one of these
I
because
know.
you can't keep anything straight. I've got like 15 alarms on my phone, and every
I do
time they go, my
too.
husband's like, "What's that one for?" And the kids are like, "Is it time to take your medicine?" And I'm like, "No, this is the time you would normally be picked up from school." That's that alarm.
Yeah. I do. I take your good brain meds because I don't want a bad brain day. So I try to make it fun for me because if it's like take supplements, I don't want to do that. Don't tell me what to do. But if I make it fun and I can laugh at myself, it's a little easier to do the serious stuff. And so I mean, you have to laugh. That I I try. I find that I take life too seriously sometimes.
I do
Like,
too. I didn't used to at all.
mhm.
And now I do, and now I need to like find that way back. Again, the balance that I talked
Yeah.
about. Balancing the
Yeah.
things.
It's hard.
Figure
It's
out how to balance.
it's really difficult. Action is coming up and very masculine energy driven action. The do fix be what they're showing me is like a ram just going out into the world and I don't know. I don't want to say fixing things, but like just destroying things along the way because maybe that's not the way it's supposed to happen. Maybe it is supposed to be a more gentler approach. Does that make sense to you?
I think naturally I tend to accidentally burn bridges
Ooh,
because of the emotions that this all brings about.
yeah.
So I'm wondering if it's sane not to or to be cautious of burning bridges in the process because
Yeah.
that might
Yeah.
be the right.
Like I was talking about where it would be my natural preservation tendency to like kind of step back and create distance between someone who I could potentially be hurt if something happens to them. Are you doing the same thing because you're anticipating hardship? Or
No, I think I'm getting angry and burning bridges with people who I expect to be there that are not, that have already let me down in the process
fair?
of the initial diagnosis. Like when
Yeah.
it originally came, a bunch of people distanced themselves and they were people that shouldn't, like parents
Right.
and family. And again, they just thought, well, it was taken out, so you should be fine.
Right.
Because again, it's not the real cancer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was flat out told by my own mom, "Grandma had it, she's fine. You're fine." My grandma was almost 70 when
Right.
she was diagnosed with it, and she didn't have a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old at that point.
Right.
It's very different. It's very, very different.
Sure.
But she also then stopped talking to me for like 7 months, and so she does that whole distance
Distancing.
thing.
Yeah.
Anytime anything big happens in my life that's potentially bad, I end up going through it very alone.
Yeah.
And then, this is probably personal, but with my dad, when I was breaking it to him the other day that what's going on and that it's most likely back and like how they're moving forward and stuff, his response was, "Well, stop spazzing out." I just lost it. And I was like bawling my eyes out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
"You supposed to be a support system. You are supposed to be my protector. I can't imagine ever saying that to any of my kids. Don't spaz out,
Right.
which then tells me they're not taking any of this seriously, where this is very life changing
Mm-hmm.
for me. So I ended up bawling, and I didn't say anything horrible, but I just ended up ending the conversation, and that was the end of it. But I
Yeah.
also have not talked to him since then. So it's been a couple weeks, and I don't anticipate hearing from him anytime soon either.
Um,
So that's the burning bridges kind of thing that I'm talking about. But at the same time, there's a piece of me that's like, okay, maybe these bridges are meant to be burned, because you see where you fall within everybody's life. So it's a very fine line for me of, I am probably pushing some people away, aka my husband, a little bit, just because I'm scared.
yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I've when I'm not feeling my best mentally, like mental health wise, I will for sure push people away, because it's easier for me if you can't stand me when I'm at my worst, there's a chance that you're just not going to remember me like in high regard. And so it's easier to just
Mhm.
be the bitch and push them
Yeah.
away, and then I don't have to be responsible for making things work because I'm the bad one. It's like I get into this
No, that is literally the
spiral.
mentality.
Yeah, I get into this spiral of really trying to paint myself in a bad picture, and I'm like, "Pete, you'd be better off without me. I'm such a horrible person." This is totally a Taylor Swift moment, because I'm thinking about Eldest Daughter, the
I'm
song that
not the
just
bad bitch.
came
I'm not a
out.
savage.
Right? I'm like, "No, come save me, hold me, comfort
That's what
me."
I know. Thank you. That's what I actually need. And meanwhile, I'm like pushing everybody away, as I'm like, but hold me, lovable. But it's because I feel unlovable within myself
Yeah.
that I can't accept the love properly. And I
Mhm.
feel abandoned by others, which who have actually abandoned me.
Yeah.
That the ones that are there, I can't trust that they're actually
There.
there.
Yeah.
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 Oh
No, I
yeah.
totally
No,
get it.
that line got me too.
Yeah. I'm getting chills thinking about that song. I was
Eldest
like
daughter, eldest
singing it
daughter
in the
here.
shower. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know.
me too. Me too. And I'm the oldest of 4, and there's 17 years between me and my youngest sibling. And so I was forced to grow up earlier than I think every eldest child in general is. But the weight that's put on the daughter
Mhm.
is usually heavier than what's put on a son, whether they're
Mhm.
oldest or not. So I just happened to be both. The first way that I felt like I could not match my parents' expectations was they wanted a boy and I was a girl. And I remember being really young, and my middle name is Nicole. And I remember him referring to me as Nicholas because he wanted a boy that bad. And, it's just crazy now looking back of like, I actually went through a lot of struggling. I wouldn't say with gender specifically, but with the energy I felt. I wonder how much of that results back to being the eldest daughter and expected to perform at a very masculine level in life and still just being a girl. I am just a girl. Like, I just want to
Mhm.
do the girly things.
That was I don't think my parents okay, my parents were teens,
Right.
so I'm a product of teen
Yeah.
pregnancy, I guess. So they didn't know what the heck they were doing, and we
Yeah.
all grew up together in a lot of ways, but I was very much, I wanted to be a dancer, and I was into the pretty things and all the girly things. Like,
Yeah.
girly as my daughter is, I don't know if you've noticed, she
Yeah.
is like 100% girl.
Yeah.
As girly, she's a tomboy in some ways, but like she's just all about princess and pink and purple, and just she's just a girl. And I embraced that so much within her because that was me.
Yeah.
But then I was pushed into doing all the physical stuff and having to compete and be like the
Yeah.
boys. You know what I mean? Like, my brother is 15 months younger than me, so they did get that boy, but at the same time it was very, raise us both kind of
The same way.
like boys in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you're tall, and I'm sure
That
that
would
didn't
be
help.
another piece of that,
Yeah,
correct.
like
Yeah, it
that.
wasn't like a dainty little girl,
Right,
like, that was a huge component of all of that is she's like a boy,
right. Well, and, like, I'm
and I
only
wasn't.
5'2". I'm only 5'2", and so I've not had that experience. My biggest obstacle, I guess, related to height was when I was a firefighter, and I was only 5'2", but I was expected to perform like these men who are, like, 6'2" and had
Mhm.
100 pounds on me, and I was still granted, yeah, the testing requirements were adapted for female, but in any kind of real life situation, I was expected to do the same amount of work. And
Right.
I will say, like, the mentality that was drilled into me growing up of, like, you can do anything a boy can do really
That
paid
was
off at that point. Like,
Yeah, my dad taught me to punch at a young age, like, not to fight, but just, like, to learn how to, like, punch properly,
yeah.
and there was, like and I remember this, I was in 6th grade, and we were sitting on there were, like, some stairs at lunch, and we were sitting on some stairs, and it was my friend's boyfriend, and he's like, "Girls can't punch." I was like, "I can punch." And he's like, "No, you can't. Girls can't punch." I was like, "Yeah, I can." He goes, "Okay, right here." And I was like, "Alright." And I went, bam, and I socked him in the eye. And he didn't come to school for a week because I'm pretty sure I gave him a black eye from it. But it was this whole mentality of, well, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter. I'm a girl. I can do just as much as you can do.
Yes.
Just stupid stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That really comes, like, full circle back to what I was talking about, like, accepting help from people or letting others take care of you. And that's been a big struggle for me, especially being eldest daughter in my household. I've heard that in super independence is like a trauma response and
Mhm.
wanting to just, I can handle it. I've got it. I can do it all on my own. And it's been really, I think the biggest struggle for me is my husband is not like the manly man who can go fix things. I'm the one that, like, I'll yank out the dryer, fix it because it's broken, and then shove it back in place. And he's like, "Oh, thanks for handling that." And then he's very much like the artist mentality. So
I can
he's
see
like,
that.
he's the one that can go out and play music beautifully. I've changed my oil more than he's ever changed anything in his car. He I remember when we first started talking and I was like, "Oh, my car's doing this and this and this." And I'm like, "Do you know anything about cars?" He goes, "No, I go and get a new car when I need new tires." But you are not helpful, ma'am. You you what are you gonna benefit to me? Like, I just need someone who can help me with my car. It's always been that dynamic. As I'm sitting in my office, I'm looking over at a picture that he hung for me, and it was, like, one of the most manly things he did. He was like, "I hung your picture," and I was like, "Ooh."
So sexy.
Yeah, and I'm like, "But I didn't have to do it." Like, I'm not the one that had to dig everything out, hang it up, put it on the wall. It really did mean something to me. It was just funny. I don't see, there we go, rabbit hole.
I get it though. I Because my last relationship prior to this, because this is my second marriage, first marriage, I did all the things.
Yeah,
I was the one that, like, put all the furniture together, and I
yeah,
was the one that hung things up, and I ripped the carpet out of the house when we were gonna put wood flooring down, and I painted the walls, like, it was all me
yeah,
and not him, and now I'm in a relationship where I've got, like, the manliest of guys. He's the firefighter
yeah.
medic that he does all the things. He changes the oil, refuses to take it in places to get the oil changed. Like, he's the one that's out there in 30-degree below weather, and he's changing the oil and doing all the things, and, like, last relationship, I changed the alternator in the car. You
Right,
know what I mean? So it's a very dynamic shift, and where I'm allowed to, like, be the girly girl that I was
right.
never allowed to be before. Yeah.
I haven't really been showing the cards. It's hard to kinda show these cards because of light, but this one is one of my favorites where they're kinda cleaning up each other's wounds. They're just helping each other out.
That's a beautiful card. Like,
Right.
honestly, it is.
It to me symbolizes, I mean, it's a 3 of swords. I don't read based on the general meanings of the cards. I read very much intuitively. When I put a card down, the cards are just a tool. I put a card down and I start getting all of these emotions, pictures, words, and I put it together into a meaning. But that card, more than anything, especially in the conversation we were just having about, like, that energy exchange, sometimes we need people who will just let us be what we need to be. Going back to that song, it's just there's there's so many times I've said, "I don't wanna get married," and I'm like, "No, ultimately, I just want a marriage, like, I want a relationship where I can just be a girl and I can just be taken care of," and it's really humbling when you finally find that, though. Like, you
It's hard.
genuinely.
When you've been that independent person, it is hard to let it go because at the same time, I'm not working currently. So he is the one that is in charge of everything. And I was a sole provider. I was the one that did all the things. I was the man in the relationship in the
Yeah.
last relationship and letting go and letting be. And some of our arguments sometimes are where he'll come at me and be like, you have everything you want, you
Yes.
asked for. You wanted to be the mom. You wanted to
Yeah.
be home with the kids. You wanted to raise them. But, like, relinquishing all of that independence is very, very difficult when
Yep.
you've always, like because, again, being a product of teen marriage, like, been independent my entire life.
Yeah. Yeah.
There was a certain maturity that has to come with that, like, eldest daughter and teen pregnancy, like, there's a certain amount of maturity, and so but he's an eldest too, so it's kind of like this give and take where we struggle balancing each other out with it.
Yeah.
And they've got that fight for, okay, well, who's more independent? Who's more in charge? 'Cause we're
I can
both
see
in
that.
charge.
I could totally see that. Luckily, Kyle is basically an only child. He has a stepsister, step siblings, but he was raised as an only child. Like, they didn't come until much later in life. And so there's a very different mentality for
Mhm.
sure. And so I could see me with another eldest in the family would be very difficult because, yeah, there's just a
It's
certain energy that you have. Yeah.
but there is, like, I think all oldest children, like, I know the song, like,
Yeah.
Eldest Daughter, she was written from her perspective, but I think all eldest children have that same wound.
Yeah.
So, you showing that one where you're cleaning each other's wounds, like, we do that for each other in a lot of ways,
Hmm.
where we both get each other on a different level. It's not this whole, like, oldest versus youngest. Like, when I grew up, my dad was a middle child, my mom was a baby.
Yep.
So we had me,
The
and then
eldest.
we had a brother who my dad understood, and I had my sister who my mom understood. And it was always
Mm.
like, don't do that to your sister. She's the baby. I know what it's like to be the baby. And constantly hearing that, I'm just like, but nobody gets what it's like to be the oldest.
Yeah,
Nobody understands this because it's a completely different world, you know?
it is.
So
It
I
really
never had
is.
anybody who really got it. So then that's the way the relationships go is like my brothers with my dad and my sisters with my mom. And then I'm just kind of out here free floating and
Yeah,
raw dog life.
I know. Really.
Sorry if that's not appropriate, but
No,
it's
I say that all the time, especially so yeah, no, I say that often. I make a
it's one of my
joke
favorite
about it of,
verses.
like, people who don't use tarot cards, people who don't know astrology, people, like, are just raw dogging life out there. But really, I feel like we just need something to help guide us, and, like, that's my stuff. So, I love that. It is so true. Let's see, there's such a feeling of going to battle for yourself, and I think we've already touched on that. But there's also we got the star, the sun, and the 10 of swords. The 10 of swords for me is oh, interesting. In this instance, what they're saying is acceptance. How so? Interesting. There's there's a feeling of acceptance that you're worth fighting for too, not just for your kids, not just for your husband, but that you have enough value that you should fight for yourself. How does that sit with you?
That's a hard one to accept.
Yeah, I get that.
But that's been a struggle with it, all of this is like, I just, yeah, trying to it's not been me. Like, I have my own wants, and then I feel selfish about wanting it, but I don't feel like I don't want it for the reasons that I'm supposed to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I want to fight for it, but it's because, like, I don't want I don't know how to put it into words. Like, it's very difficult to
Do those wants feel frivolous in the grand scheme of things?
sometimes,
Yeah,
but not because it's like it's things like I want to live to be able to have grandchildren.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So in some ways, yes, but in other ways, no. But if I mean, I was older when I had my two youngest because we've got big age gap. You said you've got 17 years
yeah,
between you and your
yeah.
younger sister or younger sibling. My oldest is turning 21 this year,
Wow.
and I have a 5-year old.
Yeah,
So I have this large gap. We've got 5 kids between the two of us,
wow.
and I don't think he's going to give me any grandchildren anytime soon, if at all. Like, I will not see that from him at all. But so it's like I'm waiting on this 7-year-old,
Yeah,
which I don't want her to grow up too fast either. And so I'm like
right,
trying to savor the moment, I guess, like rabbit trailing a little bit again. But my wants for me is like I don't want my children to hurt. Like I look at these other kids who grew up without their mom or
right.
without whatever. And the wounds that they have from that are sometimes worse than if they grew up with a bad mom. You know what I mean? Like
Right, an overly critical mom, or, like, in the grand scheme of things, people who have
I just
lost their mom would rather have an overly critical mom than no mom.
right.
Yeah,
So like my desire for it, I mean, is really solely based on them. Like I just
yeah.
want them to be okay in so many ways that that's what pushes me forward, I guess. I don't know.
I love that. There's just having such a raw conversation with someone who's literally going through the depths of hell. Like, I cannot imagine the things that you mentally struggle with on a daily basis. And being able to talk openly with you is probably one of the best things that I could ask for right now, because I do live life in such fear of just little stuff. I the last summer, this last few months, I've come to realize that I have a lot more anxiety than I originally thought I did. And what's crazy, so I didn't drink until I was 21. 21 to 38 was hardcore. I was an alcoholic from the get-go. I was hiding how drunk I was the very first night I drank out in public, and still wanted more, still, needed to drown whatever was going on in my head. At 38, I really got tired of my own company. I was sick of myself. I couldn't do it anymore, and decided one day that I just needed to stop, and told a few select friends. And so for the last 7 years, I've been really deep into this recovery journey. And I think I'm finally between my relationship status, my own sobriety, and really just being at a job that I don't feel like I'm on the defense all the time. Like, I have a really good job where my coworker people, it's allowed me to kind of drop my guard and really focus on my own mental health. And in doing so, got a diagnosis I was not expecting, but also have uncovered a lot of this anxiety that just surrounds just everyday stuff. And there's a lot of health anxiety, or I think even of I've done so much work to get where I am. What's going to happen next that it's going to wipe it all away? Or I'm not going to be able to enjoy the
You're
next
waiting
40
for that
years.
rug to be pulled out from
Yeah.
underneath you.
Yeah.
Because
Because
when things finally start to look up,
sure.
because we've been so ingrained on something's going to happen,
Yep.
we don't deserve
Hmm.
this kind of good
Right.
that we're waiting for that to all just be
Yeah.
taken from us. And that's, yeah, I get
I
that.
think the conversation with you has helped me just to remember there's so much more that I can enjoy in the moment, and I don't constantly have to be waiting for the next thing to happen. And it's not that you're living like a cautionary tale, it's more of just your experience, and really just wanting the simple things in life, really just wanting to see your kids grow up. I would imagine it's like all the things of see them graduate 5th grade, see them graduate middle school, see them like the little things that we take for granted or even take as a difficult day. Got to get to this place and we got to do this dinner and we got to, like in the midst of that stuff, it feels overwhelming sometimes. But really, it's just the experience of being there. Like it's,
I still feel all that, just so you
oh,
know.
sure. Oh, for
Like,
sure. Yeah.
there's days where I'm just like ready to pull my hair out
Yeah.
and sit in the corner of the couch and just cry for a few minutes because it's just
Being
a
a mom is
lot.
hard. Yeah.
It is. I was writing one of my friends the other day because she was talking about how she's just struggling being a mom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I've been a mom in so many different situations. I've been a mom to a spouse that didn't work. I've been the sole provider. I've been a mom in a situation where he did work. I've been a mom where I didn't work. I've been a mom where the kids are sick. I've been a mom where I was going to school full time and, becoming a nurse, brand new mom. I've been a mom where I took care of my parents at the same time and
Yeah.
working. And I like literally like every situation that you can imagine, I seem to have been a mom in those situations. And the overall consensus is being a mom is fucking hard.
Yeah.
It's just hard. Just hard, period. Like, it doesn't matter, like, nothing ever makes being a mom easy,
And
ever.
I think, like, people think, "Oh, once they're out of the house, things are gonna get easier." No! Like, I feel like
At
it's
least
yeah, I feel like it's gotten more difficult. All of my kids are
you
kids
don't have
now.
the control anymore.
No. And there's
Well,
still that worry for them day in and day out that things
mhm,
are going to be easy for them or they're not gonna get hurt. 2 of my 3 kids, not counting my stepkids, are in what appears from the outside in really solid relationships. And I'm trying so hard to not project my fear of everything falling apart for them because
mhm.
at one point I was in a very solid relationship at 20 years old. I was in a good marriage. I'm watching them just wanting everything to work out for them and make good decisions and don't screw up like I did and don't they're all in their 20s now and I can't dictate what they do and it's so much harder. Not that I ever told them what to do in the first place. I've let them pretty much make their own like choose their own adventure type of thing for life, but it's so much harder when they're not at home.
Letting go is hard, yeah. I
Yeah.
think just letting yeah, being a mom is hard.
Yeah.
It's
I
just
yeah.
hard.
There's no easy button for being a mom.
No.
No, not at all. Oh, let's see. I want to pull a few more cards and then okay, I like that. There's this feeling of the world is falling apart, but it's getting rearranged in the process. There's there's a ah, cliche words. There's a reason for everything that you're going through right now, but there's also a very what they're showing me is like a very direct replacement. Like pick you up, move you to where you're supposed to be. There's a feeling of protection around it, protecting you from things that could have potentially had a worse outcome. Or maybe that's, I'm trying to think, is that like past stuff or current stuff? Current stuff. Interesting. There's, yeah, strength. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think one of the biggest, I hate, that word feels like we've used it too much, but lessons. One of the biggest journeys that this whole situation has brought up for you is the emotional, almost like emotional sobriety, emotional maturity of being able to stay on path or stay like they're what they're showing me is like this big ship and you're sitting there steering it and there's a storm coming this way and waves and everything else and you're just like holding it steady, just really moving forward and like keeping it on track so you're not diverting too much. And that to me is like the emotional maturity to handle everything that's coming at you right now.
I don't feel like I have that anymore.
And I think that's what it
I
it's
feel like I've regressed emotionally, like, 15 years ago, I think emotionally, I was much more emotionally mature than what I am now. And I feel like I've like regressed in some way. And I don't know, maybe that's the lesson within this, is to try to regain emotional maturity in some
Mhm.
way.
Possibly, but also is what I got excited because I'm like, how awesome is it to actually be able to feel safe in your emotions right now? To be able to express them and be able to touch on all the range of emotions and not just have to be strong, have to be steady. You are I probably like the emotional maturity is knowing that there's a multitude of emotions there and being able to feel them and experience them.
I mean, I know in the last couple weeks, there's been a couple times where I looked at my husband. I'm just like, I'm not okay right now.
Yeah.
I'm literally just not okay.
Yeah.
And I think if I would say that in any other circumstance, they'd be like, maybe we need to get you in to go see somebody. But instead, it's more of like, okay, that's to be expected at this point. I literally have been able to say, I'm just not okay. Things are not okay. I'm not okay up here. I'm just reeling from it all, and
Yeah.
that anxiety kicks in, and all the stuff. And then I'll have moments where I am, and then moments where I'm very not
Yeah.
anymore
Yeah.
again. So very back and forth. And I mean, yeah, I am definitely in touch with all of the emotions at this point. I feel like it's just a roller coaster ride of what next.
Yeah.
What am I going to feel today? I can't predict and say today's going to be a great day, because at some point it could be something that could trigger me, and all of a sudden I'm just like in a pile on the floor, bawling my eyes out. Or it could be a good day. I don't know.
Right.
I can't wake up and say we're gonna have a great day tomorrow. I just don't even know how I'm gonna feel, truthfully. So,
Yeah.
which is a piece of all of it.
Yeah. So, like you're saying, you felt more emotionally mature 15 years ago, but how would 15-year ago you handle what's going on now?
See, and that I don't know, because that thought did pop into my head for a second. Like, but I don't know if, because like now I'm dealing with repercussions of trauma from, we'll say, 15 years ago. Like, there's things in nursing that we see and do, and you just go through it and go through the
Yeah.
motions and you handle it. And then, like, there's been a whole thing of like, since I've not been actively working like at the bedside, all this former trauma is
Mhm.
coming up and out, and it's kind of like bubbling over. So I'm dealing with that portion of things at the same time as everything else. So I probably would have just pushed it down
Yeah.
and just put, whereas now I have to feel it all, and it's not fun, and it's not pretty, and it's a very ugly process. It is a
Yeah.
horribly ugly process to work through all of it. But I guess at some point I had to do it. And I don't know. I wait for my husband to reach his point too, because again, medic, and he's
Yeah.
seen more stuff than what I've seen. And we've just seen different, I guess, is how I should put it,
Different.
because different. We all have our own
Yeah.
medical trauma that we've gone through. But I
As
wait
a
for
as a
the day that he
provider.
steps,
Yeah.
um, I wait for the day that he steps aside and like actually sits with his emotions and it all comes out. Cause that's usually when there's a high rate of suicide with
Mhm.
people in these industries,
Yeah.
because nobody's taught how to properly process or handle any of the emotions. So I guess maybe my lesson in all this is me going through it first, so that I can be there to support him when it's time for
Later.
him to go through it at the same time.
Yeah. I like that. Yeah, I've gone through the unraveling part of my I mean, there's there is not a single person in emergency medical care, one way or the other, healthcare, who is not traumatized. Like, it's impossible to walk away completely unscathed.
No, there.
I often think, like, I miss that job, I miss that career, and I'm like, "If I got back into shape, I could totally do it again." And yeah, I could, but I would not be the person I am now. I would not be the gentle, compassionate person. I had to stuff so much down. I had to
Mhm.
and even now, I've gone through the healing portion of it, and there's still stuff that I'm like, I can make a really dark joke about that, and I have to almost because no one else will get what I experienced in that moment except the other people that were there. And, it's not I
Yeah, we make perfect jokes.
yeah. It's what's crazy is
They're still there.
when I was an EMT and firefighter, that's when my mediumship started to pick up and I really started to tap into stuff. And it was people who I had tried to help, or I'm trying to think of like the most vague way to say this because it does get very dark sometimes. The victims of some of the calls we would run. And
Mhm.
I remember waking up one night in the station and there was just a figure standing at the edge of my bed. And I was like, I know exactly who you are. And I am so sorry that things happened to you the way they did. And I could not, it took a lot for me to come to terms with that and really start understanding that there's a reason I knew that, this person was experiencing this, and a symptom. Like, I could pick up on stuff and I didn't understand why. And I thought, wow, I'm really smart. I read the book really good. Or, like, but no, it was literally whether it was your spirit guides or like this medical intuition, or like, I knew things. And that's when it started to like really unravel for me.
I've had that. I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about because
Yeah.
that was where things got to be almost too painful for me
Yes.
because I would feel their physical pain.
Yeah.
So I could tell when somebody was coming in and they were full of BS
Yeah.
versus the ones that were coming in that were like truly in pain because I would like start to feel physically ill
Yeah.
while I was taking care. And it like
Yeah.
became too much to take on because like you're taking on everybody else's. I didn't know how to separate or
Yeah.
put it aside. I didn't see figures or anything like that, but like I physically
Mhm.
felt everything. So
Yeah. Yep.
empathy to like the nth degree
Yep.
is different of it. And I thought I was really good. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm
I
so
was like,
smart. I
wow,
know
I'm so
these things.
smart. Right now, looks like you're weathering the storm. The cards are like, nope, there's still battle to be fought. So you're right where you're supposed to be. I think that it deserves your full attention. There's only so much introspection you can do, man. Come on.
I do it all the time. I'm by myself a
I
lot.
know.
So I
That's why
have
I'm
to,
like, there's only so much
and
that a person can
when I,
handle.
right. Oh, trust me. I have said to my husband, like, I'm like, when he gets upset about me being upset about stuff, I'm just like, this is what happens when you leave me alone with my thoughts. Stop leaving me alone. Don't leave me alone to think about things. I'm not safe with my own head right
I'm
now.
not, no, I
I can't
hurt my
think
own
about this
feelings.
anymore.
Yeah, I hurt my
Yes.
feelings
I
more
hurt
than
my
anyone
feelings more than
else's.
anybody else. Yes, literally.
Yesterday, there was a
I'm
situation I
mean.
called I called Kyle, and I was really excited about something, and I wanted to share the news, and he's like, "I gotta go. There's, like, literally an emergency that I'm in the middle of." And it was something very urgent that needed his full attention. I was like, "Okay, fine, just call me when you're done." He calls back, like, 10 minutes later, and I feel rushed through the phone call again, and so he hangs up. And I'm in my head going, that person's more important than me, and he doesn't love me, and he doesn't want to hear me, and he doesn't want to talk, and da, da. And then I talked to him later, and literally nothing was different. Like, it was just a regular day. And I was like, don't you know how mad I am? He's like, about what? Like, to him, life was just normal. In my head, we had been divorced 5 times, and we're fighting, and we're, like, arguing over the dog, who gets the dog.
We're
I
starting to
was
fight at our house, and he has this, and I have that. So yeah.
Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
it
This is
literally
a
was
normal thing.
just me in my head. That's all it was.
Mhm.
There's a big big emphasis on they're showing me is cutting out cut cutting out the stuff that doesn't matter, cutting out it's like literally cutting the fat off of like a steak. Like this, you don't want that. That's just not going to be good. And it's the
Favorite part.
trimming down. Huh?
I said that's my favorite part of the steak. So
Oh, but no, it's like more like trimming off the stuff that's not
the
like
excess.
meant for you. So I'm sure you probably know what that is in your life. You probably understand. I mean, it could be the people we talked about,
Mhm.
just kind of letting the stuff that doesn't matter fall away on its own. I don't
Stop
think it's
forcing it up.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't think it's meant to be, like, super direct. Like, I don't see it's more literally just things falling away. So, like, if you stop feeding something, will it detach on its own?
I've come to that conclusion on my own too.
Yeah,
Mm. Stop putting effort into the things that I previously would have put my
yeah,
whole self into because they've shown how they put their effort into me at this point
right.
after I've given everything to them. So it's just kind of letting things fall where they fall.
Yeah, yeah. The one theme that keeps coming up is self-worth and knowing that you are worth fighting for. Like, you are it's okay to give into that occasionally. Even if it's not all the time for you, it's okay to just if you want something and it's gonna make you feel better, you can have that. And I think it does come back to being a mom, eldest child, wife, like, we tend to put everyone else first. And
Mhm.
I think there are certain situations where it's okay to be super selfish, and you're in one of those situations now. And it's gonna be, I think, important for you to recognize when is the time to be selfish and when is the time to allow others to be put first. Does that make sense?
Mm.
So,
It does.
yeah, it's hard. Like, in
Mhm.
in any scenario, being mom, wife, whatever, it's hard to put ourselves first. So, but allow yourself that. And I think the whole reading is like coming back, like circling back to just focusing on the important stuff, focusing on, the things that really matter most. And sometimes it is putting yourself first.
I need to get better at that. I'm not good at it. Even if it's something as simple as buying like, my favorite kind of shampoo or like
Oh, yeah,
I'm just not like I'm not good at it. It's making sure everybody else has all their things first.
yeah. Just find something little and do a little at a time. It doesn't have to be big stuff, but I think you deserve it. I know you deserve it because
Thank you.
you you bring a lot of light into my world, and I know I'm not the only person who feels that way. So, you
Well, you're
deserve
here to
it.
make me cry.
Do you have any other questions for the cards?
I don't I don't think so. I mean, I think it's pretty on track with everything. Well, no, it is very on track with everything that is going on. Not pretty. It's very on track with everything. I mean, I think at most I would just want to know like I fe you keep going back to lessons and stuff, and I know that's been a theme that I've said in my head all along is like, what am I trying to learn from this?
Yeah.
I've got to take a lesson away from this because I feel like everything that happens in life there needs to be a lesson to it, so we don't repeat the same mistakes over and over again.
Right.
So like this coming and I'm like, what did I miss the first time? Like, why is this happening again? What do I need to do differently this time? And I don't know. So there's definitely been a lot of introspective thought on what next or what
Yeah.
am I doing? But I think it's just writing it out right now and waiting to see how things happen and what happens from here and
Yeah.
then figure it out.
I agree. I mean, ultimately, it was the journey is the lesson right now. Don't jump ahead. Didn't we get cards that said, "Don't jump ahead"?
We did, yeah. And I
Yeah.
feel like I have to apply it to something and I don't know what to apply it to, but maybe it's not application yet. It's still just going through it and
Yeah.
then having the experience from there.
This is a question I ask everyone. What advice would you give to 20-year-old you?
E.
Yeah.
Don't marry the first person that you think loves you. Yeah, I think I just so badly wanted to be loved
Mm,
and like I had something to give that I
mhm.
just was ready to settle down
Yeah.
with whoever. And it was the first person that showed me that attention and affection. And
Yeah.
that's what I did. Was ready to make it work forever. So I think it would probably be like don't settle and don't settle down. Like both don't just because I was definitely settling, but I didn't see it at the time,
Right.
you know?
Right. I like that.
But again, at the same time, there's lessons we learn from every situation, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the child that I have if I wouldn't have done it at that point. But
Yep.
yeah, I think it was really just I just wanted to be loved so badly that love yourself enough to not need somebody
Yeah.
else to.
Yeah. I can sympathize with that, empathize with that for sure. I know. Well, again, thank you so much for coming on and
Thank you.
allowing me to read and the topic, the discussions, like everything that we talked about. Being a mom is hard. Doesn't matter what your situation is. It's tough. Being an eldest child is hard.
Thank you, Taylor.
I really do, and I know I touched on it a couple times. I really do appreciate you in my life.
Shit, you
I'm
too.
very grateful. So
However this happened, I'm very
yeah,
thankful and happy for it.
exactly.
So,
Exactly. All right. Well, I hope you have a great rest of your day. And thank
thank
you.
you. You too.
And
Thank you for everything.
I'm gonna